You may be looking at some changes in your own life, whether it's marriage or the arrival of a
I'll
child.
definitely see love in your future.
This is the only card in the deck that I'll say you might win some money. Hello and welcome to Psychic Roundtable on Monday, December 17th. We're here in the studio ready to take your calls. I'm Marilyn Shannon and I am thrilled to be here for the last call of the year. We're going to have fun tonight with our special guest. Our guest is from Montreal. She's a clairvoyant. She's an astrologer. She's a tarot card reader. She has her own live TV, nope, not TV, radio, Facebook Live program, which we're going to do right after this show tonight. So please join with me in welcoming Catharine Allan. Thank you, Catharine.
Thank you. My pleasure.
It was really good of you to join us tonight. So are you all ready? We warmed up the cards?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, I'm
The
ready.
phone number is there on the screen. So if you're watching this live on Monday, the 17th of December, give us a call, shoot us an email. We'll be answering your calls. So tell me a little bit how you came to wind astrology and tarot and channeling and mediumship all together.
Yes, it's quite the story. But I started to study astrology just in bookstores, and it rang true for me. And so I started to observe other people I knew, family, of course, friends, and it still was ringing true. And I didn't tell anybody I was doing this for years and years. I met somebody when I moved to Montreal who owned tarot cards, and I never put them down again. And he brought me to a store that was called the Mélange Magique, and a few years later I ended up working there for 13 years. And the other coolest part of the story is he kept telling me, oh, you have to meet Miriam, she's so cool, she does astrology like you and art like you. And I said, okay. So he dragged me out in the middle of the night to his job to meet her because she was baking, and it's 3 a.m, and she didn't have any time to meet me. But I got a good look at her. 3 weeks later, I walked out into my back balcony. Miriam was my next door neighbor. And she became my apprentice. So I had one of those moments when the student is ready, the teachers appear.
Yes.
And she apprenticed me on all kinds of things, including astrology. The channeling began I didn't know that's what it was. I was in such deep concentration about my cards or astrology, trying to analyze it, that I actually went into an altered state, and it started to be more accurate. And as I did more readings and was presented with more people, of course, I started to be, what's going on? Everyone I'm seeing has passed away. What is it going on? Oh, well, you're a medium. Oh, I didn't know that. So I've come to trust it because I didn't crave these things. They happened, and I learned to work with it.
It's interesting how when you become very adept at one tool, another one just cozies in and says, all right, let's add this.
Yes.
Yeah. I was the same. I worked at the psychiatric hospital for many, many years. And I never told anyone at the psych hospital that I had a voice in my head.
No.
Because I wanted to go home at night. So, so we learn that there's a good part of that and to use it to help people, because that's what both you and I want to do.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
We were talking earlier at home about the difficulty when people come to us and somebody has told them there's a curse upon them.
Yes.
And how heartbreaking that is. And
Yes.
that's not in our view, it's not ethical. So
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. All right. Your cards ready?
Yes, they are.
All right. Patty, how can we help you?
Hi, Marilyn. It's Patty calling. And I'm just wondering, do you see me being able to purchase a house by the summer?
All right. Let's see what we can come up with. One card jumped out for you already. So, well, you know what? In some ways, it depends on what you call summer in many ways. And so here I've got, this is late summer. This is, the grapes are rich on the vine. So, and this is 10 of Pentacles. This is often a card for purchasing property, for big investments, for the money to be there. I have also the Queen of Cups, so you know, there she is sitting on her throne enjoying that lovely scenery. So it really feels like it's possible for you to get that house, but later in the summer. And you, Catherine? Nope, there, please.
Oh, sorry. The first card that I have for you here is, whoop, I've got to balance it, is the Star card. And the Star is all about hopes and dreams and ideals. So I imagine there's some sort of aspect of what you want that's a dream house, or, you know, it's stimulating your imagination and your fantasies, the house that you've got your eye on. The second card here is the Ten of Cups. For me, that's a card that sort of means we're oversaturated with emotion, and sometimes it can be a card of contentment or satiety, it can say, but it also can be just sort of the cups are too full, we don't quite know what to do next. And I have the Two of Cups, which is actually more the Lover's card in the deck. I get a very strong feeling you have a happy relationship and that this person wants you to have your dream home. So my overall feeling is you're going to get the house that you want, or pretty close to it. Timing-wise, yeah, I'm also agreeing with Marilyn. I'm sensing more that towards the end of summer.
Thank you, Patty. We have another caller.
Oh,
Predictions right.
yep. We said lots of calls, and here they come.
So Kelly, how can we help you tonight?
Good evening. I'm hoping that you folks can tell me whether I'm going to receive the large sum of money that I am expecting before the new year. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you can tell with my wells that I'm not going to say yes, have a wild and wonderful New Year's Eve. This is the Eight of Cups, so this is Persephone going down into Hades. And this is, to me, delay. It doesn't feel like it's going to happen in just a timely way. And here's the good old Tower card. I call this chaos and turmoil. So to me, it doesn't feel like the paperwork or the signatures are all in place. Somebody may be dragging, somebody may think that there's another choice or another option. So I'm sorry to say, Kelly, it feels like there will be delays in that payout to you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. First card I get here is the Princess of Discs, and it's sort of a younger version of a businesswoman, a grounded person. She's practical. Maybe not fully aware of what she needs to do. I don't know if that's you or someone else in the situation. Then you have the King of Wands, who is a more strong-willed male. And I get a feeling that he's sort of driving this decision or dragging this decision. I get a little bit of feeling of waiting on other people, that it's out of your hands. And the last card I get is the Six of Wands, which usually is a card of success. I think if I may, that it's putting a time frame on it that's putting so much pressure is possibly causing more problems. If you just let it go and trust that the timing will bring you what you need, and it doesn't have to be for New Year, you might see better results with these people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary, are you there? What's your question for us tonight, please?
Generally, I guess family-oriented, what it looks like.
I'm sorry?
Sorry, you didn't hear me?
I'm not understanding the question. Family-oriented, what it looks like.
Right, relationship.
A romantic relationship?
No, overall.
Okay, family dynamics perhaps is the,
Perfect.
okay, got it. I mean, family can be,
Yeah.
thank you. I just need to sort out what you were asking us here. Thank you, Mary. All right, well, it feels like family has been through some challenging times here, all right? And it really feels like there's lots underneath. Here's the moon card. And Next Saturday, we're looking at a new moon in Cancer, high emotions, high feelings, high intensity, and of course it's Christmas. Everybody's wound up and emotions run high. So to me, there's that whole business of what's running underneath the surface here. What both that Six of Swords and the Magician card says to me, it really needs somebody to drive this wagon and keep things focused and keep things on tap and say, okay, now we're going to do this and now we're going to do this. And if the emotions start to flow, that's okay. But being able to say, all right, get the Kleenex and let's have a cup of tea rather than one more bottle of wine, because emotions with tea are usually safer than with wine.
Yes. All right, so funny enough, I pulled this card again for our last caller. She's coming up. This is the Princess of Pentacles again. So again, a younger, grounded person, resourceful, still has some growing to do, but pretty down to earth. You mix her now with the Princess of Wands, and you get somebody who's much more fiery, feisty, impulsive, just barrels right in there, just bluntly says it. The other one is going to be more cautious, more careful, more. So I'm seeing, at least on one side, that there could be, it could be two women. It isn't always, but these are the two archetypes, and it feels like there's a personality clash that has led to some problems. And again, you have the Two of Swords here at the end, which some decks that's a peacemaking card. And this one, she looks sort of, solitary. So you want to avoid both people feeling lonely. And I agree with Marilyn again, like sit down, have tea, talk it out. Don't let people feel lonely and isolated. If you have different styles of communicating, you can work this out.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Christmas,
Yeah.
and emotions, that new moon in Cancer.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Full moon in
Full moon in Cancer on the solstice, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. All righty. Emily's up. Emily, do you have a question for us?
Yes, I just want to know what you see for me in 2019.
Thank you. All right, so we have a pair of wand cards for you. Fire, okay? Ideas, inspiration, excitement. And you see this fella in the back here. It's not meant to be spooky. It's an indication of learning something new and being able to make choices, because the Two of Wands is often a card of being a little bit bored and ready to do something different. The King of Wands says to me, it's time for you to take charge. And we're getting that message of take charge here a lot tonight already. And that King, but the interesting thing for me of the King of Wands is this is never sit still. Know what feels right for you. Know when you're content, and know that when you're feeling sad, that it is time to take some actions that are positive. So I see you being able to take positive action, but I also feel that there's moments of sadness here, all right? And so countering that sadness with, I'm going to do something and ease this pain, feels like it's a good idea for you. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I get for you the King of Swords, which has come up again. A lot of repetitive cards tonight, eh, Mary?
It happens here.
Yeah.
Big time.
Okay, so the King of Swords is sometimes, as we said, like someone older, or it could be more mature, can be academic, can be, all intellect, sometimes all head and not a lot of connection to his emotions. But in his good side, he would be, an educated person who's helpful, constructive. Now you have the Queen of Wands. Again, that get up and go, that fire. She had the king, I have the queen. Passion and will and action. And then I have the Sun card, which is lovely. Happiness. But the Sun card is more than just, ooh, it's easy and it's all sunny. The Sun is wiser than that. It's like, think of the Dalai Lama. He's the wise person who chooses to have his innocence. So you've been through lots of things. Maybe this is a couple that's existing. If not, I feel like you're going to be in a couple, or there's going to be a lot of walks and talks and a lot of bonding with somebody this year for you.
Very nice. Yeah.
I wish that for you.
All right. At the end, somewhere at the end of this show, a caller or an emailer, I'm not sure if the audience gets their name thrown in this, but we will be announcing the winner of the door prize tonight, and that will be an online reading with you.
Yes.
And at the end, we'll announce that winner and let you know how to set it up. So
Yes.
we have an email coming in here from Terry Lynn, and we have fancy new devices here. So Terry Lynn is asking, I'm wondering how my finances will look over the next 6 months. All right, Terry Lynn, thank you for asking. And well, it's interesting. Where do I want to start? We've got the Lovers and we've got the Seven of Cups. Both of these are cards about making a choice, all right? And the trick of both of these is, especially with the Seven of Cups, we may not want to make a choice, all right? So finances, what do you choose your finances to do for you? I look at the Nine of Wands and we've got this poor little ship about to go crashing up on the rocks. We know it doesn't, we know it's lined up and there's a channel there. So this one says if your finances look like they're going up on the rocks, it may be time to sit down with a partner, whether the partner is a spouse or kids or your bank manager, and make a plan and make some choices and stick to it. So there's an if in here. If you can do that, it feels like you'll be home free, because that little ship gets home free. If you decide to put your head in the sand, it's not going to be so easy.
First card that I get for you is the Nine of Cups, and that's, I'd say in this case, maybe representing the kind of life you'd like to have, the good life. It's, everything's happy with the Nine of Cups. You see the one person approaching her. There's abundance around them. So it's what you're wanting, I'm imagining, right? Now, next we have the Ten of Pentacles, which is a card usually of money, a chunk of money. Now, sometimes we all wish it's the lotto. Sometimes it can be a personal loan. Sometimes it could be a line of credit. Sometimes it could be, and anything that comes in a lump sum, and you may need to talk to somebody or apply for it to help you out. But then we have the Ace of Pentacles on top of that, and for me that usually represents a new project or a new job. So if you were considering adding to your plate and something on the side, or it's time to get a new job or ask for a raise, something like that. So that it feels to me there's a bit of help or need for help, and there's a bit of applying yourself in conjunction with that.
Thank you. Maria, how can we help you tonight?
Good evening. My question is, what do I need to let go of in 2019?
That's always a great question for the end of the year. Because often if we make an effort to let it go and leave it in 2018, it's a very helpful exercise. Well, Maria, you need to let go of carrying the whole darn load yourself, all right? This is a card of overwhelm and burnout and too many rods in the fire. So let go of doing everything. And then we have the Death card, all right? Well, this card is a card of transformation. This is really a card of, after you let go of doing everything for everybody, that there's a vacuum. I've done all this for everybody for so long. What can I possibly do now? And I'm going to say, sit with the vacuum and allow yourself to feel the freedom of not carrying all of that load, and let it go completely. And then that new seed sprouts and away you go. But let go of doing everything for everyone And don't be afraid of sitting there with your feet up thinking, well, now what? I better do something. Don't be afraid. Something's coming. Just stay in that vacuum for a little bit.
Yes. Different cards, but similar message. Your first card is the Tower. So the Tower is when, you know, something has shown us, we've told you once, we've told you twice, now we're pulling the rug a little bit on you. So you already will know what you need to let go of, and yes, it might be something that's been hard to do or a little scary or feels complicated, but the thing with the Tower is once you have done that, it liberates you. Then you have the Three of Wands, which is my card of virtue, of connecting to yourself in the highest sense, putting yourself first in the good way, taking care of yourself, connecting to your spiritual life. Then we have the Seven of Swords, which, as you see, is a woman walking away. Often that's the card of moving residence for me, or moving city, walking away from something that has really not been working for you. Looks like it's on the plate. But as Marilyn said, these transformation cards seem scary, but they really do bring something better in their place. So you can be hopeful, even if you got work to do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for calling in. It's great to have the lines hopping tonight.
Yes.
Sheila, how can we help you?
Well, Marilyn, I would like to know if the people who stole my female kitty and her 7 babies are going to give them back.
Oh.
That's not a feel-good story, Sheila. I'm very sorry to hear that. My goodness. I feel like I'm a bearer of bad news tonight, but you see in this card, somebody is holding on very tightly to something out of fear. I think they're very nervous about giving you the kitties back because they don't want to be caught. They don't really know what to do. I do have the Fool card here, and really this feels to me that I don't think you're going to get the whole family back. But I think Mama and maybe 3 of those babies are coming back to you, all right? And it's not that the other 4 babies have harm come to them. They may just find their home. But so it's going to take a while because I don't believe they're coming back really as kitties. They feel like they'll be a little more grown up. Maybe Mama's bringing them back, but the people won't be.
Yeah, the first card that I get for this is the Prince of Cups, and as you can see, he's sort of mysterious, right? He's got secrets he can hide. So I'm getting a feeling of somebody who unfortunately might have taken these cats to sell them, or I don't know, desperate to make some money off of them. I don't feel them harming them, but trying to make money. There's a Queen of Swords here behind it too, so they're not acting alone. This pressure is 2 people coming into the 4 somehow. And my last card is the 5 of Pentacles, which is usually a card of financial lack and worry. That's what I feel is driving this. And I do feel like the mama and a couple of them come home and the rest are, I would say, are sold. That's my feeling. Did you feel that at all too, Marilyn?
I felt that they were going to other homes.
Yeah.
I didn't get into I didn't feel the monetary aspect, but it
Okay.
makes sense. Yep.
We fill in the pictures together.
Yes, that's the advantage of having 2 of
Yeah.
us. Absolutely. We have an email coming up here from Peggy, please. Just wondering what the cards show for me today. All right, Peggy, let's see what we get for you. Thank you for the email. All right, hop a ding. So first off, this could be the card of December for most people and especially women, this burnout card, all right? We're all tired. So this card says, what does it see for you? It says, you're ready to just put down some of the burden and stop doing it all. Why did I say hub-a-ding? Because you've got two really jazzy major arcana, and the majors have more oomph to them. So this is, you're ready to rock and roll. You're ready to stop doing all of those things. You're ready to focus on the direction, and you may be ready to focus on heading someplace where it's nice and warm, where you can lay out under the sun or under the sky and see the stars. So one, it feels like there's a trip if you can get everything ready. Two, and it feels like that trip might be a little more last minute, okay? There might be a planned trip and a last minute trip. And the star is make your wish and go after what you want. Hub-a-ding, this is one of the wish cards. So make a wish on that card and go after that wish.
First card I get for you is the Four of Cups again. So hanging back and options are there. The cups are in front of him and he's still going, oh my God, what do I do? Or just want some time to think. There's sort of a resting, not doing much kind of feeling to that one. The second card is the Eight of Swords. And as you can see, there's a couple surrounded in swords facing different directions. Sometimes that can be a need for space or separation from someone for a while. But the feeling I'm getting with you is you just genuinely are craving some time alone to think, to sort your head. And then I see the High Priestess. And she represents, again, trusting your higher self, going within, trusting your dreams, trusting what you want to manifest. And I feel like you just sort of need a bit of a cocoon time to bring yourself there. And if there's any people or situations that are causing you too much grief or head noise, then you're going to need to take a little bit of that separation to get there and be able to steer your own course. But I get a feeling you're a very self-driven person when you have the rest and the space. Good luck with that.
Two things that are severely lacking at this time of year for most of us.
Yes, exactly.
Time and space,
Counterintuitive to the season when it's the darkest time and we're pushing ourselves
Yes.
to be the busiest.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yolanda, how can we help you tonight?
Good evening. I have two questions, if I may. It's a future for my son. What is the 2019 looking for him? What's in his cards? And also for my daughter. Is she going to find a job? Is she going to be happy? Is she going to find someone, a good-natured person? That's what I'm interested for 2019.
All right. How very generous of you to use your questions for your son and your daughter. A lot of questions there, so really I'm just going to focus on the overall energy. This is the card I chose for your son. This is the card of harmony. Took me many, many years to figure out that this card is harmony. And it feels like your son is reaching a point where he's learning how his words and his attitude and the energy he puts out brings back to him. So I honestly feel that he's moving into a sphere, if you will, of harmony and peace and things working. For your daughter, rest, all right? She's been very busy. She's been very anxious, and it feels like this is a good time for her to rest. Both of these cards are cards of communication. So it's a time to communicate and a time to that both of them need to be communicating what they want with the people that are important to them. I think they'll have a good year.
Mm-hmm. I did the same thing. I chose one for the son and one for your daughter. For your son, I have the Three of Pentacles, so good news, Mom. That's usually a very busy, productive year, either with school. We weren't sure how old he is, so if he's in school, he'll be very busy. He'll get good marks. He's engaged in what he's doing. If he's a little older, that's usually full-time employment, making money, saving your money, being practical. So overall productive for him, which is nice. And then for your daughter, we have the Lovers card, which, as we know, everyone hopes the Lovers means love, but sometimes it just means a lot of choices to make, partnerships in general. I get a feeling a lot of shifting in her social life this year. and not in a bad way, aligning herself with more people she's resonating with better, more, and love is a possibility. If she's already in something, maybe it gets stronger and more committed. But I get a feeling of her discerning and having a better social life this year, which will make her happier.
Thank you. So I did promise someone that I would say hi to their mom. And I want to say hi to Cecilia, who's been watching our show forever. And I believe she's sitting at home knitting away. And I just want you to know that the card of justice showed up for you tonight, Cecilia. This is balance, fairness, and ease, okay? So I also will say to you, watch your balance, all right? Be a little careful on slippery stuff out there. But thanks for watching our show, and we hope you're watching tonight. So, we have a question from the audience.
Hello, ladies. I'd like to know, like moving forward in 2019, is what baggage do I have from my past that I need to clear up to move forward?
Right.
Good question.
The yellow one in the back of the closet. That not that kind of baggage, right? No, all right. I guess we were all being a little silly earlier. I guess it's passed on. Well, I'm going to make this sort of a little general, but I'm sure that you will get the idea because it's pretty specific. Issues with authority, all right? Who's been giving you orders, who used to give you orders, and how you respond to that, all right? And allowing yourself to make peace that maybe it's not orders, maybe it's just order, okay? There's some issues around mothers, all right? Whether it's your mother or somebody else's mother, or how to mother when you're not a mother, there's issues around mothers. And I'm going to say to you, if you're looking at that as baggage that you're leaving behind, be kind to yourself and work from your heart, because you have a very generous heart. Okay. Speaking of heart, here's the card of strength, overcoming your fears to act from your heart, all right? Because strength is from courage, courage is from the heart. So what baggage do you need to be leaving behind? That it's scary to work from love. Okay? You're welcome.
So the card that I got for you first is the Queen of Cups, and that's a very nurturing, sensitive person. It could also apply to mother issues, whether it's you mothering or being mothered. And often there's a shyness in the Queen of Cups to set her boundaries. I keep hearing over and over boundaries and turf with you for some reason. I'm also getting the Emperor, which again, it can represent authority and structure, power sometimes. And then I get the Judgment card, which usually represents some sort of need to come and step forward and declare your space, declare what I want, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing. I've assessed it enough. I'm not going to struggle anymore. And that's where I kept hearing boundaries and turf with you. You need to figure out what your boundaries are and not be shy to set them, even if it puts you up against somebody. Because I feel like you're in a situation like that. So don't be afraid to take your space.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. We have a caller on the line. Anne. Thank you, everybody, for calling. Anne, do you have a question for us?
Yes, I do. I am wondering about what's going to happen in the building I live in. Investors have gone through the building, and I want to know, are they going to keep it as a rental or turn them into condos, and will I be able to stay or will I have to move?
Okay. So I pulled two cards. One is for the investors and one is for what will happen to you. I have you here as the Queen of Cups and sitting on your throne, all right? And I get the feeling you're going to be sitting on your throne. So I wouldn't get too worried about it, because you're just going to be sitting in your chair and quite comfortable, phoning us on Monday night and talking to us, all right? This is the card for the investors, and really this is actually a really great card for the investors. This is the slow-moving financial decisions. It doesn't feel like that they will move quickly, but they will move, and they will make decisions that are in a good, orderly direction. And so this card feels like they have a plan, but it will take a while to implement, and that it will make them money as well as let you stay where you are. I think actually they might spruce up your building, and it might be a good thing. What do you get?
Yes, the first card I get is the King of Wands, which could represent the investors. I also got a similar feeling that of cleaning things up, renovations. I feel like that's needed for some reason in the building, so it's good if people come in and put the money into doing that. I don't feel that you're there forever, but I don't feel an urgency to move. But the second card I get is the Princess of Swords, and that represents somebody who's sort of willing to speak and to fight if need be. So I would say not a battle on your hands, but to also maintain, a sense of what you have a right to during this process. Yeah, it's always good to know your rights in these situations, and a little bit of the laws maybe about these things, but there's no hurry for you to move out. You end up with the Six of Wands, which again is all of these things are laid out before them. You're going to have choices regardless how this ends up. So I don't think you need to be afraid, but just, there's ways that people can do this well, and there's ways people can do it and impinge on you. So just not to let them do that to you along the way.
So that's the Six of Wands card?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the card for when the Toronto Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
Yeah. Just so, you Montrealers know what's coming.
That's funny.
All right, so we have, I believe, an email coming up. And my son better not phone me and ask me when they're going to win either. So, all right. Dominique, my boyfriend Cody passed away a few years ago. Is there anything you can tell me that may bring closure? My feeling on this is that it was a jolt, just a difficult time, unexpected. And it feels to me, Dominique, that you are carrying an awful lot of guilt around this. And that guilt is not serving you, nor does it serve the relationship that you had with your boyfriend. He loved you, he wanted good things for you, and he would like you to allow that to happen in your life again. That's what I get for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also felt a sudden feeling, and the first thing I heard was he didn't want to do it, whatever that means. I'm sure it'll mean something to you. I get a feeling of regret and remorse from him at how quickly he left. He didn't have any chance to say any goodbyes or clean anything up, or remorse, but there's a lot of remorse I feel. And sometimes you're carrying that energy, and it's his energy, and you don't need to carry that for him. Just visualize him in the light and tell him you love him, and I'm sure you'll start to get a sign of something positive that he's around you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Jody, how can we help you?
Hi there, just wondering if you have any messages, just wondering if there's something I should be doing, or something I should let go of, or something I should know.
Let's see what we get for you, Jody. School. Okay. Why do I say that? Well, we have the Hierophant card, and this is a card of traditions. This is a card of learning. This is a card of you may be the teacher or you may be the student. And then I have the Three of Pentacles card. So this is a card of apprenticeship, okay? Being maybe paid to learn new things. But the whole idea of it's time for you to open up to learn new things, to do new things, perhaps even be with a new group of people, because here we have the Lovers and choices here. So as you move into 2019, I'm going to say be open to opportunity and possibilities. And if somebody offers you something, don't say, oh, no. Say, tell me more, all right? Because then you're not saying yes and you're not saying no. That let go of fear of trying new things is what comes through to me. And you?
Okay, so the first card here is the King of Pentacles. That's usually a more mature, possibly older, doesn't have to be, male who's usually pretty businessy, pretty down to earth, grounded. Then you have the Prince of Cups coming back again, that sort of mysterious, romantic stranger. And then you have the Ace of Wands, a burst of energy or passion. The feeling I'm getting is meeting men and dating. And I feel for some reason in another relationship that there was, how do you say that? I feel like you were sort of feeling put in the middle between two people, whether that was two men or whether it was a parent and a partner. And I feel like there's a little bit of work to do untangling yourself from some patterns. And I'd like to see you getting out there and meeting more people. And if dating is relevant, then it's that, and it could be good this year. Otherwise, it could just be networking and friendships, but to put yourself out there more clearly, I would say it would help you this year.
All right, sounds
Alrighty.
exciting to me, Joey.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question. David has sent us an email. So, emails, look at that, just
All
like
right.
magic up on the screen. David, what does my work prospect and value at work look like this coming year? All right, work prospect and value at work. So, two cards, prospect, great, value, great. So, Four of Wands. This is a celebration card, so this is the prospect, all right? So this, you can see in this, you're in the middle there and you're being honored. That also answers the question of value to some degree. Being valued, being seen as offering, having lots to offer, all right? I'll also add that I think that you're seen in a very positive light. I do wonder if sometimes your mind wanders around and jumps around and might not focus a little bit, but your value at work is you can see things from a different angle and bring innovative ideas to it. Don't forget that what some people say is daydreaming for others is really good ideas. So don't be afraid to bring those. These two are very positive cards.
Yeah, I get actually sort of contradictory cards, but I'll explain. So the first one is the Star, and that tells me that you've got a lot of dreams, a lot of hopes, a lot of ambition. And I get a feeling that you might be hard on yourself, David, or perfectionist about your goals, and partly because you know you have it in you to achieve it. So, but I just feel a lot of pressure that you're putting on yourself to do things really big and really fast. The second card here is the Three of Swords, and sometimes that's a card of loss or sorrow, but in this case, I don't see any loss, job loss, or anything like that. I feel it's more like a year to really look at expectation level, your performance level, what you expect of yourself compared to what's realistic in time, and not to be so hard on yourself, because this is like a high and low of self-image or of expectations. But yeah, you bring a lot of value. I think you know that. So it's to ease up on yourself. That line of where am I pushing myself in a good challenge, and where am I pushing myself to where I'm setting myself up to be disappointed.
I often see that Three of Swords as pain that we carry in our heart.
Yeah.
And then we speak it, or we put it out there, and it's time to let that negative thinking go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very All right. Kim, could we answer your question tonight?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I wanted to ask 2 questions, but I was told I was only allowed to ask 1.
Yes, please.
Beg your pardon?
Yes, please.
Am I going to have a good Christmas?
Let's see what we can do.
Thank you.
So here we have temperance, all right? Sometimes this card is the card of doing the impossible, because technically you cannot pour water from this cup to that cup at that angle. So this card is allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to do the impossible, have a good Christmas, or get along with somebody that you might not ordinarily get along with. And then, just to cement that a little bit more, we have the Sun card, allowing the good things to take front and center stage, and maybe even allowing yourself to be front and center. It feels like there will be people that want to honor you, want to do something really nice for you for Christmas. Don't tell them that they can't, all right? These cards say to me, a really nice Christmas, if you let yourself.
So I have, first card here is the 7 of Pentacles. Now, it's a complex card. Sometimes it can mean financial lack or worry. So my first feeling to you was caution on the spending. We don't have to spend a lot to have a nice Christmas, and we don't have to prove to people we love them by how much we buy. So it's, because the deeper meaning of this card for me is astrology related. It's Saturn and Taurus. It's knowing what's worth what and knowing your value. So the second card we have is the 2 of Wands, which is, as you can see, he's standing very proud and strong, taking his place, his space, looking good, feeling good about himself. I also got a feeling of people in your environment that you might feel sort of steal the show from you, or, you know, just be a little more bold. Again, this is coming up a few times tonight, this take your place in your space thing. Maybe it's just a Christmas theme in general. And then we have the 10 of Swords at the end, which often is a little bit difficult, I can't lie. So it's just giving me this feeling of a bit of friction around you. And we have to step back and see really what's worth our battle. Is it my battle? Is it worth pushing this or that, or having that conversation? You can have it peaceful if you go simple, I'm hearing. Just keep it simple.
Sometimes I see that 10 of Swords as, especially with the Temperance card that I pulled, issues around addictions.
Oh,
right?
yes,
And
for sure.
let's face it, with all the emotions and who's not at the table is usually more of a problem than who is.
Yeah.
Keeping things simple is really important, I think, to have a good Christmas.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Alrighty, I believe the audience, someone in the audience has a question.
All right.
Who is it? Kelly.
Good evening, ladies.
Hi.
For the past couple of years, I've been working very hard on improving my health, and I'd like you to tell me whether I'm going in the right direction and whether I will continue to have really good health in 2019.
Thank you. Well, there's one.
Just sort of popped out.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I don't know if you're going to have good health, but Maple Leafs are going to win the Stanley Cup. Does anything else matter? So, however, for you personally, this is a card of victory. So in this card, this is Jason. He's slayed the dragon, all right, slain the dragon. And now has the golden fleece, which, as we know, if we follow Greek mythology, this journey has been forever and a day. So what it says to me of you, never mind the Maple Leafs, is that this has been a long journey for you, that you need to really dance in some of the victory shoes that you deserve to be worn. And here we have the courage of the heart, that whole business of maybe part of your health has been getting a stronger heart and not living in fear, but going forward and doing some of the things that maybe you've delayed because you weren't able to, or you didn't feel it was a good idea. It feels like in 2019 it's going to be like, yeah, I think I can. So go and enjoy, and congratulations to you because you have worked hard. Yes.
All right. So our first card here is the Five of Swords. And as you can sort of see, they're sort of pinned down. And you might be feeling quite tired or burnt out or stretched too thin for too long. And that might be some underlying reason for whatever health things are going on, is exhaustion. Our second card here is the Three of Wands. And as you can see, she's very radiant. You know, she's got her lotus in front of her. She's bending and stretching and moving and fluid. And so it's making me think, you know, rest, yoga, or walking, stretching, dancing, anything that brings you more fluidity of movement. And that could be also a metaphor for fluidity in other ways, whether it's emotional or whether it's literally physical fluids. Then we have our Queen of Pentacles. She's really a down-to-earth, practical, resourceful, and, you know, eating right, good routines, sleeping routines, eating routines. You know, this is the kind of structure and self-care. That's my main message. I don't feel any ill health. I feel like it's like pull back and really self-care year, and you're going to feel a lot better.
Thank you, Haley. We have a caller on the line. Vera, how can we help you?
Yes, hi. I'm wondering what is in store for me in 2019, and would I be traveling out of the province for my profession?
Thank you. So, well, all right. Well, there you are on your horse. And this is the Knight of Wands. Wands are often going and doing what you really are excited about, inspired about. So this definitely feels work-oriented. And it feels like there's opportunity with that. And there might be more travel than you really had in mind when you asked the question. And what's in 2019 overall? The Three of Cups, celebrations, parties. It looks to me like there's good news, celebrations, promotions, possibly moving. So it looks like it's going to be a very busy, rich, full year. Sounds good, Vera.
Yeah, it does.
Yes, yeah.
First card I get for you is the Temperance card, which we sort of talked about a bit. For me, the Temperance card is this beautiful metaphor that the timing of things isn't always our own. Sometimes there's a process. Like if you make a cake, you don't just dump it all in all at once and beat it up and it's a perfect cake. There's processes that make this bit by bit be this beautiful cake and project or work of art. So there's something about that, patience in the process for whatever you're wanting to happen this year. Then you've got the Ten of Pentacles, which is, again, like a money card, money coming in. That could be anything. So you can look forward to a little bit of a boost financially sometime during the year. And then you've got the King of Swords. So that tells me you'll be either in strong relationship to someone like this as a King of Swords, helping them out, getting to know them better. This, if you look closely, he's got the symbol for Libra on his shirt. So he's usually an air sign, more intellectual, likes to talk, witty, clever. This could be a father figure, a grandfather. It could be a man that you meet as a spouse, but someone you'll spend a lot of time with this year.
We have time for one
One last,
caller,
okay.
Really quick, like a
Okay.
one-card answer.
They're gonna
I'm
ask if
sorry
Elise
to
are
be
gonna
quick,
win.
Helen. How can we help you tonight?
I'd like to know what the future is for my oldest grandson.
All right. So here we have again the Knight of Cups, this loving card. This is a loving young man who really needs to be able to express himself musically, lovingly, a writer possibly. This all looks, if he can do that, he's going to have a good year.
Mm-hmm.
One card.
Look at that, Knight of Cups.
Ah!
Prince of Cups, Knight of Cups. Yes, sensitive, creative, deep, needing stimulation, needs to have good friendships, emotional bonds. I hear something though about like just curb if he's got tendencies to be a bit obsessive about anything. I'm feeling like he gets really excited and really obsessive about things sometimes. Could be great, he could master things that way, or he could be overdoing it, just to watch for that.
Thank you. Our winner tonight for a session online with
Yes.
you, lucky person is Emily. And I want to thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
And all the callers, emailers, and our audience, thank you. This has been just a hopping show tonight.
Yes, it has.
It's been grand. It's been grand. We were going to talk about astrology and tarot. We'll do that at midnight tonight, I think,
Yeah.
when we're finished with your call. Somewhere along the line, I'm doing a scrying class, all right, on starting in January. So if you want to increase your psychic abilities and learn how to read a crystal ball, check out kingstonspsychic.net ongoing classes, and that's a pretty exciting online, so you can do it in your jammies. Oh, so now they tell me we have a minute.
Okay.
Yes.
So I can tell you a little anecdote then, since you're bringing
Please.
up hockey.
Yes.
I was invited for Halloween to do a party, and they said, oh, it was a private party. I said, okay. They said, do you mind if we do your makeup? So the Day of the Dead, they had the professional airbrushing and all this stuff. And then when I got downstairs, I found out that I was doing readings for the Montreal Canadiens.
Good thing you didn't tell me that when we started out.
Anyway, so
I bet it was fun.
Yeah, it was
That was
fun.
fun.
But I don't make hockey predictions.
No, it's not a good
No,
idea.
no,
Not
no,
a good idea. I'm
no.
always afraid people try to gamble on a prediction
Yeah,
I make, and I will not
exactly.
take that responsibility.
No.
I
It's not
went,
the ethics.
I was in Montreal in the fall and went to see Paul McCartney. I didn't realize the Bell Centre was the new forum.
Yeah.
And there I was walking into Montreal territory. It was, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, it was unbelievable, really.
Yeah.
It's quite the thing for them. So,
Yeah.
yes. So who would we be if we weren't aware of hockey in Canada? Who would we be?
Well, if you go to Disneyland, Disney World, they think that we're Eskimos or RCMP Mounties or beaver-loving folk. That's what I
guess-
remember from being a kid at the Epcot Center.
Yes. I guess we're all of those things. And we're astrologists and channelers and mediums.
Yes, and healers
And
in our
people
own right.
who want to help each other.
Yes.
And maybe that's what draws us all together as Canadians.
I'd like to think that too.
I think that's probably a good way to end our night together here and end our year. So to everyone, thank you. Remember, we're all in this together on this earth, and somehow, if we look after each other and we're a little kind to each other, we'll get through it. And we'll have a good Christmas or solstice or whatever celebration. So all the best to everyone, all the best for the new year, and we'll see you in January.
Yes, happy holidays. Thank you,
Yeah,
Marilyn.
My pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
That's a wrap.
Woo, that was hopping.
Yay.